Welcome to another episode of Objective Bias featuring yours truly. And I no longer can say I have a special guest in the building, more so of a reoccurring guest. AJ from the T is Toxic. It's been a few episodes since the last time we linked up on here, but shit, we might as well give you a spot on the show, shit, to how much you pull up. So,
Right.
but anyways,
At
how you
this
been doing?
point, with you coming on my show, me coming on your show, like, what? Might as well just get a key. Here you go. Here's the key. There you go. There's the password. Just log in whenever you feel like it.
Right. So let's just get right into it. Not even play with y'all real quick. But we're gonna speak about the music mogul Puff Daddy Combs, Shine Combs, Love Diddy. Now it's starting to make sense why he keeps creating these names. It seems like he's running away from who he really is, and that shit just recently came out. So of course, before we begin, no Diddy, and that's a real thing now. And it's crazy because I remember when that first became, a saying when they said it's no more no homo, no more pauses, no Diddy. I felt some type of way. I was like, damn, why y'all gonna goddamn crucified this black man and we don't know what the fuck going on. And another reason I wanted to do this episode because on my one of my latest episodes, episode 18 to be exact, I did bring up this topic, but it was more of the perspective of, you know, social media, black people already crucifying somebody without any evidence. You know what I mean? And I was more so, and I did preface my comments with if anything comes out with these allegations as far as it being true, he should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. So I did make sure I said that. Now, with that being said, we got motherfucking evidence. Video evidence. It's not HD, but it's enough. So
He's not going to be prosecuted, though.
right, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But shit, that's gonna open the floodgates to a lot more shit. And before we actually get into things, when the video dropped, what was your first reaction or thought?
When the video dropped, it was cringe,
Definitely.
but it was not a shock. And I know too many women or know of too many women that have experienced it. So it's like, oh, great, that person got caught on video. But I hate to say this, and this is the sad part. Okay, so it's another Tuesday. It's another Tuesday for Cassie. It's another Tuesday for this woman
Right.
down the street. It's another Tuesday for a doctor. It's another Tuesday. There's no the lack of self-control when it comes to how women are treated. Unfortunately, made that video literally just a very common scene. So
Yeah, I cringeworthy is definitely it doesn't even give the proper or enough credence to the optics of what it really is. I was just like, damn. And I remember I was actually talking to someone and they're like, hey, you saw the the video, him beating on Cassie, shit like that. Like, nah, I ain't seen shit. And literally, I went on social media. Of course, it was all over
yeah,
the algorithms and things of that nature. And I was just more so like, damn, why he beating on that girl like that? And that was like the way he did it in the footage lets you know that this is something that happened pretty, frequently. It was normal
yeah,
because the way he was hitting on her was like, how do you hit on a woman like that? Like that was on some fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm trying to really hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole throwing her and then even kicking her while she was on the ground. I'm like, bro, why she on the ground too? Then you
yeah.
throwing bases at
Because
the
when
girl?
you
Like
don't have
the fuck?
boundaries, yeah, when you don't have boundaries, you don't have boundaries. So it's like, if they're whatever they're going to do, they're going to do regardless. You know, it the his power, the money that
Yes.
gave him the power. In the words of Kim, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect.
Mm-hmm.
That the fact that he was able to do that outside of the room was a testament to just how far he's risen.
Right. And just how comfortable he is with displaying that action. Like you're in a whole
Mm-hmm.
hotel, bro. This is not at the crib behind closed doors. You're in a
Mm-hmm.
hallway at a hotel. So
Past The rooms, yeah.
For you to, react that way or not even care about your surroundings, it just is very telling. It goes back to
Mm-hmm.
the power that he has. He's had this power and control for so long. He feels like he can do whatever the fuck he wants to. You know what I mean? Like you didn't think. Of course you didn't think. You probably did. You probably did think. You probably like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna pay for this shit afterwards and whatever, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sad that I like I was telling you earlier, I actually went through the lawsuit complaint, and that shit was, how they say, and I don't want to make light of it at all because it's not a light subject. But you know how they say like reading the book is better than the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like reading that shit, I just created illustrations in my head of what the fuck was going on. Like
Mm-hmm.
even how they broke it down, it was like there was titles of every, I guess, chapter of their relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It started with in a lot of people like I was one of the ones that was included. A lot of people didn't read the civil suit or the lawsuit in its entirety. When I started reading that shit, I'm like, motherfucker, there's a lot of shit in here. And the fact that the video part was in this complaint, it just gives credence and validation to everything that was being explained.
Yeah.
I went from not wanting to accuse somebody when we don't have any evidence to, oh, he did all that shit. Everything in the motherfucking complaint, I believe it. And the reason I believe it now is Diddy, he, especially recently, if you paid attention, of course, now that the video's out, it makes you kind of really rethink everything. He has displayed a lot of narcissistic characteristics from a couple. I think it maybe was his second to last post. It was like something in regards to time
Oh, that
tells
fake
truth.
apology.
No, that was the last one. Time tells truth. Prior to then, his lawyers were arguing against the allegations from Cassie. No, he didn't do any of that. So y'all went so hard to lie or fight to where when this bullshit apology comes out, you're just trying to do what narcissists do. You're trying to control the narrative. Bro, you don't have no more control right now, bro. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gone. It's like this is the time to where you have to eat the largest piece, not even a piece, the entire humble pie
Mm-hmm.
and go away. You just got to go to what? Go away. Deactivate social media, all that shit. I'm surprised he haven't deactivated his social media. That for me.
I
I unfollowed him. I know I did. I was following.
I never follow him. I peeped him for who he was when I was 8. And I'm 30, I'm turning 37, y'all. So needless to say, I knew at 8 years old he wasn't shit.
Right.
But I was still going, been around the world.
Damn,
Been around, I
there is
didn't
some
care.
classics too.
Um,
Crazy.
but I don't agree at all. Diddy is a drop in the bucket. He'll get a documentary written about him. He might be able to shut down the documentary that's supposed to come out so that he can create his own narrative of a documentary. His money's not going to disappear, nor will it freeze. His power is not going to disappear, nor will it freeze. He has a gift of gab. He is a certain zodiac sign, and I hate to be that person, but they are known for being narcissists, specifically the men. Shout out to my
Scorpio,
pop.
right?
Shout out to my pops, another narcissist, and a narcissist with power. And so, that's a very common thing that I've seen. When we look at some of the other ones, we've got Drake, we've got Future.
Mm.
So it's very normal for them. But one thing about a narcissist, they do not plan on the whim. They have a plan A through a plan Z. What we know, he already knew 2 years ago, probably. He already knew 6 months ago. We get things when they deliver it to us. But this man is so calculated. He's always had a way around getting distractions put in place and all of these other things. I forget what her name is. I think it's like Angie something or another. She just talked about it, and she talked about, how it broke her heart. She was crying because she saw that video, and she's been through domestic abuse. But she said something very important, and what she said was, this nigga's just gonna open up a church, and
Mm,
he's just gonna find his power and his money through that. And one thing about our culture, black people, one thing we love to do is forgive instead of hold each other accountable. So the fact that all he has to do is shed a Steve Harvey tear, and all will be forgiven in the name of a baptism, and things will go back to normal, and he will be able to regain his power in a different structure. He'll act as if, he's found Christ, and I've sold the company and I've donated this amount to the church, which would just be a tax write-off. Y'all wake up. And let me open up this building for the church, which is another tax write-off. You don't get charged taxes. You don't have to file taxes under that. It's a different game plan. And in my opinion, the psychic in me, right? Not literally,
right,
but
right.
you sent Mace out to taste test that and run a trial on that shit back in the 90s into the 2000s to see just how profitable it could be and just how well it could work as a fallback plan to your own success and failure. That's just my opinion, though.
I appreciate your opinion. Um, so let me ask you a
He's gonna
question.
be just fine.
Given your opinion about what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though he has all of that, all of the money, all of the power, so to speak, you think in this day and age of how prevalent cancel culture is and how prevalent, the optics of doing business and who you do business with. You think he's going to be able to get past all of that because of who he is, and given, we don't know if he's going to do exactly what you said, but say hypothetically speaking, he went that direction. You think because of who he is, he's going to be able to accomplish pretty much getting over in that regard.
Day-to-day black people don't come together enough to cancel shit.
Mm,
Cancel culture is the luxury of the white. The only time that cancel culture works in the black community is when it's people who have higher education and they don't play about shit like the Divine Nine. That's the first and last time I've ever seen something specifically canceled like that. Oh, we're going to do a reality show about sororities. No, the F you're not. Shut it down quick.
mm.
Quick, they shut that down. But these day to day, oh, we about to go pound bottles as people are not going to come together to shut down anything. We all still got R. Kelly on our playlist. Diddy is not going anywhere.
Mm. Well, I will say, even though his music is amazing, I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. Now, I will
It's
say I ain't gonna lie now. Say if I'm, in my zone, sipping my drink, having conversations with Mary, and it's very late, I may turn on a song or two here and there, you know what I mean?
you gonna
But
put
when
that
I'm in
TT2
my
on.
right mind, and I'm straight and I'm sober, not gonna happen. But I will say I can admit that though.
I think that I was in a training class one time with a chick. Shout out to her. And she got called out for doing something in the training class. We're all adults, mind
Mm-hmm.
you. Excuse me. And she got called out, and she was like, "Well, I don't know why you looking at me, because he coming in late, and she da 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 and blah 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 blah." And he has the kind of money that can put other people's business on forefront, on Front Street. Not to take away from his, but to say, if you cancel me, you got to cancel all of them. Because there's an alleged story that just dropped a few days ago about a very famous pop star who everybody loves. And it's like, if you're going to cancel me, you got to cancel him. If you're going to
Mm-hmm.
cancel me, cancel Mary. If you're going to cancel me, cancel this
Oh,
person.
like a whistleblower and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Shout
And
out
he's
to
and that's in
Bridgerton
there.
whistleblower. I forget her name. I don't know if you watch Bridgerton whistleblower. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Lady Bridgerton.
but go,
And then
yeah.
and he's. I think that was in there too. That he's a snitch. That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's Diddy will bounce back just fine. He'll be off in the Maldives or something, sipping pina coladas.
I
You
wouldn't be
know,
surprised if he found religion. Like that is a that does sound like the move for motherfuckers like that.
yeah.
Now I will encourage, like I said, I did read the lawsuit complaint. I will encourage everybody to go read that shit because if you read that shit, it starts from I'm kind of go over the basics from what I remember. It starts from when they met. Diddy was 38, she was 19. Diddy attempted to pursue her in the in the from the very beginning. But Cassie, per the lawsuit, was not interested because of their age gap, right? But he was persistent as narcissists are, and he's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. That's pretty much from what I was reading his play. Cassie had a whole boyfriend and everything, right? So of
Mm.
course, Diddy has all of the money, all of the connections, all of the access, whatever the case may be. So his game plan was to attempt to shower her with gifts, money, whatever the case may be.
Love bombing. Hmm.
Definitely. So the first red flag of many, per the per the lawsuit, he invited Cassie to a dinner. I can't remember where it was, or maybe it was in Miami or LA. I can't remember. She brought her boyfriend. You
Mm.
know that infuriated Diddy. And an argument ensued. He snapped on her, saying this was not a plus one. So he already had his mindset like, okay, I don't give a fuck if you got a boyfriend. I got money and power. I'm getting you. So that was the first red flag. Second thing he did, and again, I encourage everybody to go read it because I'm not going to go over every fucking thing. That shit was fucking 35 pages.
You read a novel.
Right. So he created a fake flyer. And the reason he did this, it was a fake flyer that said that Cassie was hosting an event, whether it was at a club or whatever the case may be. But the reason he created this was to get her away from her family and the dude so she can come down to wherever he was at and they could be together. Of course, party, do all of whatever the things, but the actual it's flyer itself was fake. That was just a ploy to get her away from her people and her dude. So of course, he was persistent. Oh, we gonna fuck with each other regardless. She wasn't with it at first. She definitely wasn't. But of course, I can make your career. I can give you this.
Mm.
You're on my label. And the crazy thing about it, you know the deal that she signed at the beginning where he had her in the very beginning with the contract? A 10 album deal. The fuck? 10 albums from an individual like that? 10 albums? So you
Did
deliberately
she
did
even
that.
get a full album?
I think maybe one, maybe.
I only know one song from her, and then maybe she did a feature for someone, but
So that's how he contractually had her on lock. So he already had it from a business perspective. She didn't come from nothing. You know, you're coming into all of this money, all of this fame, all of the above, and you want to make it. Especially a young woman trying to make it on her own or whatever the case may be, and you're taking advantage of her. So signed her to a 10 album deal. So contractually, she was stuck, and he pretty much forces himself on her. Introduced her to drugs, alcohol, ecstasy. I think she said the first time that from the complaint, she was introduced to a drug. It was that flyer incident when he created that fake flyer. She came out, and when I guess they were going to some premiere club or whatever the case may be, he was in the car already inebriated, had hand her a pill, and she was like, "What is this?" And the pill ended up being ecstasy. So that was her introduction to drugs.
yeah, because there was
So
no way he was going to get the draw sober.
right. So that led to, and this is so crazy. That led to the sex trafficking part, which is another crazy or interesting thing.
Yeah.
Not interested in a good way, but like, damn, this shit crazy. I can't wait till the docu series. I'm telling you. Apparently, with the sex trafficking, Diddy used to have what he called freak offs, right? In these freak offs, he actually allocated that Cassie recruit the males with literally, this is what the lawsuit says, get get niggas with big dicks. That's what Diddy said told her.
Oh, so they could play fight undercovers?
Like they were brothers. So pretty much,
Man, when they hide in plain sight. When they hide in plain sight.
so pretty much it got to the point to where he wanted her to have sex with these men while he records and masturbates. That was another thing. So the freak offs went from, every so often to a week to week thing. You know what I mean? And in between all of this, right, that's happening, there's countless times of him beating her. Like him whipping her ass was like a regular thing. Like it was to the point, per the lawsuit, where he used to beat her so bad at times, black eyes, busted lip, all that stuff. What he did was he would order her pretty much to go to a hotel room. He'll get a room for her, and she'll have to stay in there for a week or weeks whenever the bruises heal. So after he fucked her up, that's what he used to do: get her a room and make sure she stays in there until all her injuries are healed or whatever the case may be. Even when she attempted to escape, leave, because he had such a this empire of people that worked under him that were loyal to him, they would always track her down and pretty much bring her back. So she made several attempts to escape over time. He just wasn't allowing it to happen. And the crazy part is, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You're getting paid well. This is how you feed your
Who's
family.
getting paid well?
I'm talking about the people under him.
Oh, okay. I
You're
thought
getting
you meant
paid
him as
well,
a
security guards or assistants or whatever the case may be. This is how you feed your family. Ain't that much money in the world for me to see a man whooping a woman's ass like that on a regular basis. I don't give no fucks. And even if I know that I can't move anything, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set myself up to get out of Dodge. I'm gonna have an insurance plan somewhere. And you see how that shit just leaked on CNN? Some shit gonna leak somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta make it my mission to get this shit out. You don't gotta know it's coming from me, but just know if you that powerful, somebody gonna pay for this shit. I'm filming something somewhere.
If I host a party, first thing I'm going to do, if I'm a narcissist, or if I want to make sure that nothing happens against me, I'm going to mirror my phone to my television.
Mm.
So at any given time when I turn my camera on, whoever's doing what, wherever, can be on that television screen. I'm going to make sure that I'm recording things. I'm going to make sure that I have microphones in certain parts of the house. I'm going to make sure that I have things that I can use as ammunition against anybody who wants to come up against me.
Right.
If you work for me, then I'm going to know something about your life that can destroy any kind of credibility that you may have going forward. Right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I find out you had a secret hit and run, I'm gonna get that information. I'm gonna hold on to it. Because I'm gonna play chess, not playing checkers. So
Right.
you show up. Let's use you as an example. Because like I said, I grew up in a home with a narcissist, potentially two narcissists.
Right.
You show up. I hire you to do a job. You are uncomfortable with doing said job. You want to make sure that you have footage, ammunition, things like that to make sure, right? But not only did I hire you, I hired somebody to watch you do what you do. And I hired someone to watch them do what they do. And at the top somewhere, I have somebody in the family that nobody knows is family that's going to watch all of you motherfuckers.
Right.
And then I'm going to have somebody, if you seem sketchy, that's going to watch your family, see how they move, see what the routine is. Because comfortable people have routines. People with anxiety don't have routines, but people who get comfortable, they have routines. There's so many different layers and levels to narcissistic, powerful people that literally, I promise you, when you see it, you go, oh no, something must be done here. But you showed up in 2012. This shit been going on since 88. They've dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's. They filled in the gaps. They figured out how to make all of those things happen. You weren't even hired by your Indeed or your LinkedIn. You were referenced because somebody knew something about you that would be incriminating down the line if you decided all of a sudden you wanted to have a moral compass. There's so many layers to things like that, right?
Oh yeah, but you know what? Just to interject,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Omar Epps in too deep. I'm going in deep as fuck.
Omar
I'm
S.
trying to.
almost shot his people
Hey,
because he wasn't
you
sure
got to
whether
get
or not
gritty.
to look
You
up
got to get
LL.
dirty to get the dirt.
He almost forgot that he was there to arrest LL and
Hey,
not shoot his own people up.
I'm just saying
So
you
you
got to
got to
get
be
dirty
in
to catch
too
the
deep.
dirt.
Then you have this awkward
Yeah,
situation of peer pressure. And peer pressure says, you come to a party and I tell you, drop your keys in this bowl and pop that pill in that bowl. I'm not comfortable doing that. So what you trying to say? You trying to say I'm the type of person to do something to you? If
yep.
that's the case, why the fuck did you even come to my party? If
I'm
that's the
out.
case, and that's the problem. Because guess what? Your name is Ace Alpha, not Ace Beta.
Right.
There are a lot of people who put on the airs of having that kind of uh, alpha in them, that kind of self-control, that kind of power where they can't be manipulated.
Right.
It's all a lie. A lot of people are literally just living on a stage waiting for their big break.
You know what? Just to interject, because that actually I came up. Not going to say the individual's name, but I went to a get together with somebody that's famous. Has
Mm-hmm.
money or whatever the case may be, and literally, like I just know how I am. I was offered um, some drugs, or it was suggested, "Hey, I got this over here. You want to try it? I got that over there. You want to try it?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm good. Where my homegirl Mary and what to look at? I'm fucking with the regular drugs. I ain't fucking with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. Like you can't, and you're right. Everybody doesn't have that, that capability or just um, that strength, that mental, toughness to be like, okay, I'm gonna do what I want to do versus being swayed or persuaded or, being, pulled in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like even I remember that day or at that get together, there was some guy in the corner. Oh, just looking like he couldn't feel his face and shit. And in my head,
I had a party where a guy sat there and looked like that.
I'm like, is that
Yeah.
fun? You like not being in control of your shit?
Zombie.
Like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Zombie type shit. So yeah, that is true. That's why like I understand that it's a thing, but I can never relate because you're not gonna get me to take something that I don't want to just off the strength that you got money. You know what
But
I'm
hear
saying?
me out. It's crazy you say that because everybody's trying to find a way to fit in.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, isn't this how Diddy got where he's at right now? I mean, yeah, this is about to be so funny when I say this. Yeah, Diddy did a murder or two. And we all knew that forever, right? We all knew it.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Right? Allegedly, you did that shit, right? Escaping Neverland. But when it comes down to the trafficking and things, that in my opinion, not a fact, y'all, that's him trying to fit in. That you're trying to fit in with these elite white men now that you're at a certain bracket of your money. That you're trying to fit in with the Harvey Weinsteins. Was that his name? Not
Yeah.
Harvey
Mm-hmm.
Weinstein. What was his name? Epstein.
But
Epstein.
yeah, Epstein. Yeah. Yeah.
Epstein.
Epstein. Yeah.
You're trying to get into that Epstein Island energy. You're trying to see how
That's
much you
nasty.
can you're trying to see how much you can tackle without getting caught out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say once again, these are all opinions, y'all. These are all opinions. Cancel
Right.
me if you want to, but like I said, y'all won't come together to do it. My thing about it is they're gonna be like, watch this, bitch. My thing about it is that when you have a certain amount of money and your moral compass is broken, your moral compass is broken.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing you're not willing to do because you feel as though you're above that,
And that's
right?
crazy. That's crazy.
It's, I recently found out about someone close to me whose moral compass has always been broken. And then I just recently found out just how broken and fucked up the compass is. But the sad part about it was it didn't even shock me. It disappointed me, but it
Right.
didn't shock me because it was like, well, that's on par, right? That's in line with what was to come for you since you're walking down this weird ass path anyway. It was only a matter of time. Diddy is exactly who I always felt in my heart he was. He has
Mhm.
never he has never veered off the track that I knew this nigga was riding on the entire time. Ever. We watched it with the bands, we watched it with television, we watched it with reality TV, we watched it in his music with his friend. I mean, come on. Does Diddy have a best friend?
This is true.
Where's the
You know
Gail to
what?
his
I did
Oprah?
think about that before. Like, who's his right hand individual? Like, you don't never see. He's just one of those people that he's always alone. Like, who's his
I
bestie?
walk this empty street on a
Who
boulevard
did his
of
bestie?
broken dreams.
That's not paid for. Who's his bestie? That's not paid for. You know what I mean?
Or holding an umbrella.
Man, I know what's name? Forts Bentley, whatever his name is. What's his name? What's his first name?
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth. There you go. I
Good
know
night,
he got some
everybody.
tea. I know he got some tea. I know if he drop a book,
Who
that's
said Fortois?
I can't remember brother name. He been gone for so long. I can't remember his name.
You
I
know,
bet. Hey, this would be the perfect time if he really. I know, he probably won't because some people, and this is also just. I don't know if you call it stand up or just minding your business, but it seemed like he's a professional at minding his business. Like I was there, I saw it, but I'm no longer a part of that shit now. I don't even want to open up them chapters. You know what I'm
if you
saying?
found out one of your exes killed somebody, would you testify against them at court?
I'm sorry. What if I found out one of my exes
Killed
killed
someone.
someone?
Would you testify against them in court?
Only okay. Only if I like was witness to something.
You're
You
not
know what I
witness
mean?
to anything. You
Now, if
just
it's
know
just
about
more
it.
of a character type of situation,
It's a character thing. You know who they were when you were around them.
mm,
This is who they. This is the exposure of them down the line. You're gonna tattle on one of your exes.
yeah, I probably gonna mind my business. To be honest,
So exes don't tell on exes.
well, this is facts. Now,
And I don't know. Hopefully that didn't go over your head.
we don't talk about that later. It kind of did, but maybe I'll catch up later. you know?
Therefore, Farnsworth can't tell on anybody.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. No, no. I got where you're going. I got where you're going. Now it's stuck. I caught up. I'm back in the game. I didn't came back in the race. But now I mean, but hell, you can't even. And again, like for me, and really, I don't like when it comes to our black people. I'm one of those stand up black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody say something about AJ, I ain't gonna believe it until I see proof. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't put that on my people because we have been
Yeah.
accused of bullshit for the longest. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mm-hmm.
even going back to Emmett Till being drugged for just looking at a white lady and her just making some crazy ass story. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit has
Mm-hmm.
always been put on us. So when stuff first comes out, I'm like, I ain't gonna believe that immediately. But now, if you got some proof to back it up, okay, I'm there with you now. Just like in this situation, and it just everything, like even I guess another lawsuit immediately followed the video being leaked or whatever. I can't even say nothing's a money grab anymore, even if it is. Shit, I can't believe you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I categorically deny it. You categorically denied the video, bro, which is in the
Yeah.
complaint.
I
It,
think
it's crazy.
everybody, the cast iron is hot, so you got to throw everything in it right now.
Oh yeah.
before it's too late, because once it's done, it's done. You know, like, yeah, he's not going to get any time. He's not going to jail. He's not losing any money he has, but his business ventures may be strangled up a little bit now. Like I said, there's the church thing. Religion seems to work for everyone. Hey, Kanye. And so, you know, it's something that will definitely be explored. And there's going to be some good music to it. He's going to go ahead and rally all his bad boys, I'm sure, and, you know, strong on them based off of whatever contractual agreements they had that he let slide, or whatever else narcissists do. But that's all I got. That's all I got to say. This
And I
same shit,
wanted
different cat.
to, because you have a very interesting perspective and take. Because, you know, if anyone has been paying attention to exactly what you've been saying over this pod, you said you knew this man and who he was as far as those traits since you was 8. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And you were not surprised and things of that nature. You you have experienced being on the other side as far as, you know, from a domestic, you know, situation or whatever, abuse situation.
Mm-hmm.
From somebody that has experienced that, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like you said, you weren't surprised. Does seeing something like a, you know, the Cassie video, does it trigger you? Does it just remind you on, you know, things that you used to go through, like from somebody that has been on that other side? Like, like, what are your thoughts and ideas from that position?
You know, I've definitely experienced my, um, I'm not going to even call it fair share. I don't think there's a single woman who has not experienced some form of non-consensual abuse, right? And y'all, I say non-consensual abuse because BDSM is a real thing, right? And that becomes a consensual situation. But in a sense where it's not an understanding, I I I don't know a lot of women that haven't gone through that, um, starting as young girls. And for me, I've had an incident, for example, where I was body slammed, you know, in a relationship. And however, what I will say, to answer your question first, did it trigger me? The answer is no. One of the reasons it did not trigger me is because I have this magical thing where I detach myself from my traumas. And so now I go to
Mm-hmm.
therapy so I can try and
Right.
sort all that shit out. So,
Hey, shout out to
um,
therapy. You know, shit, I'm
yeah,
about
shout
to
out to
be
therapy.
back in that bitch myself. So
Right.
shout out to
Hey, girl.
therapy.
Hey, therapy. Love you, bitch. But that, so for me, looking at that, no, I will say this. I come from a family of abusers. My grandfather was abusive to my grandmother. My uncles were abusive to my aunts. My father is abusive to my mother, but in a different sense of the matter. He may not have been physically abusive growing up, but he was financially, emotionally, mentally, and verbally, extremely verbally abusive. So I know the play by play on what happens when you're dealing with someone who behaves like that. I know about the gaslighting. I know about the gift giving. I know about the love bombing, right? The when we step foot outside this house, you fix your face. The um, don't tell anybody what happens in this home type of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one video I did recently see did semi trigger me. It triggered me because of the love that I have for my aunts. Okay, my father is one of 7 kids. 5 of them are boys, 2 are girls. And there was a video that came out with Diddy mixing liquors.
Mm.
And they slowed down the video and they zoomed in so that you could see Cassie's face,
Mm.
the fear that was on her face. And I don't want to speak for the people in my life that I love, but I'm going to anonymously tell their story, some of their stories. And this is one of those. I have an aunt who I spoke to who that uncle was an alcoholic. He was extremely abusive. And she literally said, from her own mouth that when he would drink, she would sit next to him when we were at family events to monitor his alcohol consumption, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where if he started drinking too much, she would sneak and drink some of that liquor in hopes that he wouldn't get so drunk that he would whoop her ass when he got home.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or even in amongst family, because one thing about my father's siblings, they cover up for each other. They very much cover each other's secrets and they make the excuses for each other. So um for her to say, I would end up getting drunk, drinking his liquor to kind of subside whatever
Mm-hmm.
temper was going to come from it, and seeing him mix all of those liquors, um, and that look on her face, that was extremely heartbreaking because I know someone in real time that experienced that, and people people who I haven't seen in a single abusive person that knows how to just sit the fuck at home. They
Right.
love putting themselves in spaces that trigger those very abusive things that they do. Right. So the alcohol thing, that I would say that was the thing that triggered for me. Her in the elevator in the hallway. Um, that was hard to watch. That was very hard to watch. Instagram had it edited. The Bird app did not. And so that was a difficult one to watch because it was just like, damn. But you know what I think desensitized me from that, and I think a lot of other people, which is what's so wrong with our culture. We've really got to get to a point where we start protecting Black women. Please, please, please stop leaving us, because
Mm-hmm.
the lack of protection for Black women is horrific. Even when you get footage like that, men will still find a way to make it about protecting the man, and it's scary the way that that happens. Um, we have quotables from What's Love Got to Do with It. We literally redo the scene of Tina Turner running from the hotel that she just finished getting fucked up by her husband in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have scenes of people redoing that as a joke. So we've been desensitized to seeing Black women be hurt, abused, taken for granted, mistreated, run over. We're desensitized to that. Britney Spears tells one story about Justin Timberlake and the whole damn community ready to shut his ass down, right? We literally see a film that played out so well on the some of the experiences that Tina Turner received that it should be taken extremely serious. It is based off of true life events. And 30 years down the line, we make a fucking joke of it and a mockery. So
Right.
by Halloween, somebody will be doing that scene thinking it's a joke. The alcohol thing, seeing it play out in real time with the look on her face, the horror on her face, that made it more real.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely made it more real. Everybody had different things that triggered them. For me, it was the drinking scene.
And speaking about that part of it, when you just mentioned the fear in her, her face or her eyes during um that video. I haven't seen the clip, but I'm sure it's very telling. Just to kind of start to wrap this up, I want to kind of speak about the ending of what I was reading, because we're speaking about Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
She, and just reading everything, like going through that is like the most egregious, most unfortunate, most saddening thing to read, and just what she has dealt with ever since everything has occurred, because she was with Diddy. Outside of the physical abuse, she got pretty much accustomed to drug use. He forced pretty much drug abuse on her as well. So in her recovery, and it's going to take years and years of
Mm-hmm.
rehabilitation, mentally, spiritually, physically. She had to literally go to rehab to try to get right, because given what from the lawsuit, she literally, when she did not do drugs, right, or drink alcohol, she would have nightmares about what Diddy did to her. You know, all of the beatings, all of the sex trafficking, all of the freak offs that he used to call. And that's just sad. And it's just, you know, it comes back full circle because the lawsuit was originally occurred on November 16th, and the settlement was put into place on the 17th of
Mm-hmm.
November 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people probably just thought, okay, you know, they have history. He just wanted to get that out the way, you know, XYZ. But there was a reason it happened that fast. He knew exactly what he had done, the trauma and abuse that he put her through for all of those years. And as the typical narcissist would do, he attempted to cover it as fast as he could with that 20 in less than 24-hour settlement. I've never heard or seen a settlement come that fast. You get what I'm saying? The bomb was
I
dropped.
heard that he didn't do it. I heard it was his you know, he has what are they called? Investors and things. I heard they're the ones that forced it. They wouldn't let him fight it.
Whomever, they
Yeah.
knew if it was him, investors, his circle, his team of attorneys, there was a reason the settlement came in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they both signed NDAs for those that, even though the apology was weak as fuck, and we all know why he you know, he decided to put that out there to try to control whatever narrative he felt like he still can, you know, have a hold on.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he never said her name, neither one of them can say each other's name. You know, they signed NDAs with the settlement. So they're like, oh, he didn't even apologize to Cassie. He can't say her name, and Cassie can't say his name. That's a part of the settlement. So yeah, I mean, I want to end this with any woman especially, because we speak any woman that is, you know, dealing with, you know, domestic, physical, mental, any type of abuse, you know, don't be afraid to reach out, tell your story, go to the local authorities, tell somebody, because in any case, you know, no one deserves to be physically, emotionally, sexually, spiritually harmed on a consistent basis. Shit, it shouldn't happen at all. But if it does happen, we need our women to be strong enough and be confident enough to speak out. Now, with that being said, of course, you know, it is in this day and age, and I just want to be realistic about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be times to where people do lie. So I encourage us as the consumer or people that hear this, don't be quick to say, oh, this person is lying or this person is um you know, like with Diddy's situation, oh, he's being, you know, exploited. Don't pick a side until you know what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and again, the reason I wanted to do this episode is because I did mention this, but I did not pick a side. It was more so of, it was actually about people picking a side when they don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? But we also have to be able to give that space to our women who need that help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or need that ear to listen, or, you know, just need that support, you know, if they're being abused, because at the end of the day, the truth will eventually come out. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It will eventually come out. And it's sad that these men in these high places, all of y'all men out there that use your money, your status, whatever the case may be, to abuse women. Y'all some fuck boys, bitch made niggas. And like Scrappy was saying on that Instagram, if I see Cole, I want to shoot the fade, Cole. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like personally, if I saw Diddy right now, hey, Diddy getting put to sleep. I'm just saying, because that's how strongly I feel about, you know, men beating on women. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, of course things happen. Maybe little scuffles will ensue, but just walk away. You know what I mean? As a man, just walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. Leave that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, of
Facts.
course you have
Run
like,
through a window.
of course you got some circumstances, a motherfucker coming at you with a knife or some shit, you know, you got to defend yourself. But I'm talking about that blatant, just like what we saw in the video, throwing her, kicking her while she's down, throwing bases from the lawsuit. You didn't gave her black eyes, busted lips, bruises on the body. Hell, even this was another thing I didn't bring up. He actually had. She went to go get some MRIs at point in times. The MRIs came to him. That's crazy.
Those are his
Yeah,
doctors.
he was fully in control of her entire life in every aspect, and that's just sad. So I just hope that whatever they can do, I know, of course, with that specific video clip, he can't be charged, but something has to be done. You know, I don't know if it will be done, but I'm hoping that it does. You know what I mean? So, do you have any final words in regards
Yeah.
to this
Yeah,
episode?
definitely. I would say I hope whoever Diddy's 2024 victim is gets an opportunity to escape because a tiger doesn't change its stripes. So a zebra never changes its stripes. So that being the case, if she's the past, there is a present. There is a
Mm-hmm.
present that just we don't know who that is because they're under lock and key in a room right now healing.
Right.
So prayers
Probably in
to
some hotel room, healing up like Cassie once did.
absolutely
You know,
the new his
keep
new
him out
punch
of plain view.
absolutely his new punching bag because he doesn't want to get a Planet Fitness account. So
Damn. So we're gonna end on that. You want to go ahead and give the people your handles, your podcast information, because you know you got about 30 podcasts going on right now. So you can let them know
haters say
all them
what?
things.
um you guys, thank you so much for letting me come on Ace. You guys can catch me at The Tea is Toxic on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. You can see me on The Tea is Toxic on Instagram and TikTok, and AJ's Toxic Seat, which is more active on Instagram. Lastly, you can catch me with my girl Nikki June. We do Dear Mother Earth via live in Spotify. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, once again, appreciate you pulling up on the pod. There's gonna be plenty more times to have different type of conversations per usual.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you already know the slogan: anyone can talk, but not everyone can podcast. With that being said, we out this bitch.